Oh, it's no. Second time's the charm, right? Welcome to Big Brother Canada Recap, the Eviction episode, covering quickly episodes 4 and 5 of season 11. I'm Jaemeel Robinson, joined with my man Foster.
Hey.
And we're going to be recapping the episode, the eviction that just ended. Obviously, spoilers. JM, unfortunately, is a BM and is gone from the house, from the manor. He has been executed, evacuated, exterminated, no longer a part of the game. Thoughts?
There was so much hope. There was so much hope. I honestly thought like the way that the episode the conversations that they had, it seemed like they had the numbers. They just had to like agree upon it. That's all it was. Right? And it's like it's so interesting because I said it earlier about how when guys get along easier with girls, and right away day one there was the guy alliance. It may not have been all of them, but it was
It's a good
right.
portion of them.
And I don't know. But JM wasn't like JM's not like he's for the girls, but he's not a girl, right? So it's like they had the numbers. I know he's on the block, but they had the numbers though, right? So, anyways, but Jaemeel, how you feeling about it?
Well, I picked JM as my my last pick in the draft. I had a good feeling about him. I felt that typically I try to find a little bit of balance in the people that I'm choosing for this game because obviously you can go in one direction or another, and I feel that you can end up in a situation where you just get a meathead or you just get someone who has really no social cues. That's able, you get a Daniel, a DJ Daniel, right? Who just seems like he's a potato, right? So uh, I'm kind of frustrated, but that's how it goes sometimes with these games. They put a narrative out, and of course, we get what we get. So, what can you
At the,
do?
at the, at the end of the day, it seems to be going the way of we've seen it before, right? Actually, what was the one thing that there was the one they said the Pretty Boys 2.0. So who are the Pretty Boys?
So, okay, the Pretty Boys was an all-guy alliance that basically ran. I think it was Big Brother 6 or Big Brother 7, and
Of Canada?
basically
Yeah.
Big Brother Canada,
Okay.
right? So you remember in the first episode they were talking about Anthony and Dane. Dane has the little gimmick in his mouth, the missing tooth, right?
Yeah.
Dane is the one who won the season, so it was basically an all guys alliance, and they made it to the end with the exact same type of control where they control the women, and then also the guys were together at the same time. Their their group wasn't really outed until the later part of the game, and then there was nothing really anyone could do.
Well, it's already 1 week in, and it's I I was at least hoping that at least would have been like a 6-5 vote, right? Because like even like the way that they scripted it is like the first 5 votes is like, well, they get the next 6, then they get we're skipping a little bit, right? But like, anyways,
No,
we'll
no,
get to all that.
we're not doing it. Like, look, folks, if you want a Dave Mader run Big Brother Canada episode, you're gonna have to wait a week and change because this is how we're running things. Okay, you just watch the episode, right? We're gonna talk about the episodes, okay? And it's not gonna necessarily be a clear narrative. We might bounce back and forth, but uh, look, here's the problem with a lot of Big Brother as of late. People don't want to go out on a limb until it's a sure thing. And then even when it's a sure thing, they want to make it a double sure thing, right? Daniel said himself, I don't think we have the votes. I don't think Vanessa's going to do it. But then we see a thing, Vanessa saying, yeah, sure, I would totally do it. I think if we have the numbers, we'll do it, right? Where's the disconnect? Now, my problem, typically as a Big Brother watcher and how I consume Big Brother regularly, I live for the live feeds, whether it be watching it, reading it, or listening to recaps of it. So when Wednesday comes around and Dave's like, he sees the video episode, it's like, I wonder if JM has a chance. It looks like he's having a lot of good conversations. At that time, the information's already known because Vito's usually done on like Monday,
Oh
right?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, because
Right?
I know they don't do everything in 3 days. That's ridiculous. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
that they space it out. Well, because like even like does the Big Brother US have this schedule as well now as well? Because before it was
We
what
don't know.
Sun. We don't
It's
know. But
usually
what was the
Sunday.
last?
It was Wednesday, Thursday, Sunday.
Well, that's what it always. Yeah, that's what it's always been.
Yeah, typically. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. Yeah. I just but 3 days in a row, Canada. Come on. Like we're committed.
I
We are
agree.
committed. We want it all at once. We can't help ourselves.
I just so all cards on the table. I feel very disconnected because this is very different than what I typically watch. Even watching the digital dailies, I haven't had a chance to. I haven't even had a chance to go through my recaps. So I'm having to take everything that's happening at face value, and I feel that I'm not getting the full story as to what's going on because there's an all guys alliance, but they never have Hope in the room with that all guys alliance. But technically, Hope is supposed to be a part of the alliance, but they never mention Hope at all, right? So it looks like Hope and Daniel are something, but in all of the, I was looking for charts detailing, who is a part of what alliance. Daniel and Hope weren't listed as a pair. So, like, once again, I feel like there's a disconnect between the show versus, what's actually happening. And I have to, my assumption is I'm not getting all the details right now.
Yeah, and that's an issue, right? Because they're not being transparent, especially when the name of the show is Big Brother, right? Like
Yeah.
it was always kind of like that understood element that, like not only is production watching, but the viewers are watching, right? Because that's what they're tuning in for. Not for everyone, obviously, right? Or the majority, because not everyone watches the live feeds. No offense, Jaemeel, to you, of course. But
I understand.
not but there is a lot more content that is usually accessible when you're watching this type of show, or especially so when you're expecting it because it's always been that way and they change it, it's frustrating, and I can
Yeah.
understand that.
And keep in mind, I'm not saying that the only way to watch Big Brother is through live feeds. People consumed it in a variety of ways. People consumed it through discourse on Twitter, and people would usually clip important sequences on Twitter. We would keep production honest in terms of what is shown versus what happens. Saw it in Big Brother US, where they didn't really do a great job of presenting what was happening with Tellar, right? And people stuck with it and said, no, this is actually what happened, presented clips and information, so that the community as a whole was able to go, oh, I heard on Twitter, I heard on Reddit, I saw on YouTube that this isn't necessarily jiving. But regardless, let's get into this episode. All right. I'm going to be flipping through these these screenshots pretty quickly. All right. So, okay. So we start
Oh
off
my goodness.
episode 4 and 5. We start off. I'm gonna breeze through 4 or 5. 4. HOH, right? Santina. Oh, shoot. I gotta flip it here. Okay. Right? Dead last was Renee. Those were our nominations. We had DJ Daniel, Renee, and Anika, right? So you have Ty and Zach very happy with themselves, having a conversation, stating who they're with. We find out that it's Santina, Ty, Jonathan, and Roberto is mentioned as the core of the alliance, right? Renee and Zach have a conversation where Renee's kind of campaigning, but she kind of lets slip that you know, it would be pretty cliche if the guys team up and they try to do an all boys alliance. Zach, of course, freaks out and says that she's not playing the game when in reality she's not playing his game, so he's not happy about it, and says that she's going to be the target and tries, you know, putting forth for her to get eliminated. Foster, anytime jump in if you have something to say. I just want to
Oh,
keep
I
running through
will.
it.
I will. You're gonna, don't worry. I got my notes.
Okay.
I don't. I don't.
I'm trying to.
I'm more of like a. This is what I kind of see, and this is where I kind of like want to, talk about in the conversation. But no, I'm like you do the overview, of course.
Okay. Zach and Santina have a conversation where Zach tries to snow Santina into doing what he wants, which is get rid of Renee. Right?
Yeah. You know what? Here's the thing. Go back to that.
Yeah.
Zach is trying to control too much. And we already see it with Roberto, right? I know what they had, right? It's Roberto, right?
He's pushing Roberto a lot. Yes.
Like, yeah, it's Roberto, right? So, anyway, so he's the way that once again, like the way you can definitely tell that he's approached this game like he has his life, right? Because he's a business coach. He's a life coach. The way that it's just for me personally, I can tell that he would be the exact same type of person outside of the house, right?
Yeah.
And he's used to having that kind of leadership, not leadership role in a sense that like everyone is like voted for you, but he takes it upon himself to kind of like run things and control things, right? And we kind of saw the backlash of, and we'll get to it, but the backlash of when Roberto questions him about going after Renee.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is so absurd. So absurd.
So, and it's like it's so singular the way that he's thinking, right? And I honestly think that with what's going to happen is he's obviously going to make it with the guys' alliance, because that's what's it's I don't, unless it's like I don't know what kind of challenge, like other than like a puzzle, but like an endurance or something. But anyone I guess can win, right? But the point is that he's digging himself a hole without himself knowing it, because he's just snowballing right now, because a lot of stuff is going right his way, but he's not truly thinking about the long term, because he is putting a huge target on his back, because people are going to see, like, even I can't remember who it was that like he's a social beast, right? He just powers through the conversations and he steers them in the
people are
direction.
going to get resentful. People are going to get resentful for that type of attitude.
Exactly.
Okay. So we cut to Santina hanging out and flirting with Roberto. Shania, who previously was spending time with Roberto, didn't appreciate it, felt that she was getting played, started crying, and was bonding with Claudia and Renee. And then Roberto comes and notices the awkward situation and quickly excuses himself from it. Claudia is getting a lot of information from a lot of sources, and she seems to be set up pretty well. Although I really question her relationship with Ty in general.
You do?
Yeah, well, we'll get to it. So they have a conversation, and she's trying to inquire what's going in Ty's mind. And
from a game perspective. From a game perspective.
From a game perspective.
Yeah.
And Ty isn't becoming really straightforward about what's going on, right?
Exactly. And it's the way that he's acting is, and I gotta keep saying portrayed, because once again we have to, like, it's almost like we have to use that word now, right? Because we don't know the whole story. right? Because it's what we're seeing, right? So we have to go with what we're seeing. But the way that he's acting, he's just like, yeah, whatever, I don't, I don't want to talk about it. It's not really, and he's just so aloof about it. He's just like, then he just kind of flips it on her. It's like, you know, why you asking me? Like what's that about? And then he flips it, right? But he acts all like even though he's my pick, and like he's gonna go. I think he's gonna go farther than Zach.
He is looking like a really good pick, and the number one reason why I feel that is because he's going to let Zach take all of the brunt of the negative feelings, and when the turn comes, right, when the hook comes for Zach, he's gonna let the mob. He's gonna sacrifice Zach to the mob, and he's gonna be like already 3-4 steps ahead, right? I think he's positioned himself really, really well, right?
Yeah, I think he's in a good position because, like, even like you said, like you mentioned Claudia, right? Like she's definitely thinking better than Ty is, in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
But Ty has that he's even without this POV, right? Like we knew he was a comp beast, right? And Claudia is and he's got the bros now, and he's got Zach as his number one, and and now he's got Claudia, which is she's looking like a top 2, top 3 girl right now, and she's the front runner, right? Like in terms of that opinion, right? So he, like you said, he set up pretty well. I'm happy with the draft pick, but on a personal level, he's a douche.
Yeah, I agree. So we get to the veto in question, which was called I have the name of it. It is called "Can Slop Won't Slop," right? So what they didn't show was the veto picks. So Anika got house guest choice, and she picked Ty.
Yeah,
DJ
okay, I'm gonna stop you right there. That was frustrating because I was like, "Where is this?" Like, I wrote it down, and I was just like, or I typed it in my pad, and I was like, "Where is this? Like, I want to see this, right?" And then someone, like, I don't know who it was, mentioned about picking Ty, right? Anika picked Ty, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, so that did happen, right?" But anyways, go ahead.
They actually put it online as a deleted scene, so you could watch it, but you'd have to go to the website. Like,
So
so
ridiculous,
yeah,
so unnecessary.
DJ Dan picked Daniel, and Renee picked I don't know, because I couldn't tell who the sixth person in this competition was. Could you tell do you know who the last person was? So it's Anika, Ty, DJ Dan, Daniel, Renee, and one other person. I don't know who that other person is.
Give me a second. Let me think. It was. Was it Kuzi?
I couldn't tell you.
Oh, you don't know? Isn't
I
that
don't
all of
know.
them? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
1, 2,
6.
3,
Right?
4. So that could be Kuzi. That person there looks kind of could be Kuzi, I guess.
Well, there's
Because
5.
that's
There's
Dan.
5.
That's Renee. So maybe there's 5 people. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Oh, there's 5. 1,
There's
2,
5.
3, 4, 5. Oh, so they had the dead last person not pick. Renee didn't pick someone because she was dead last.
Oh, there you go. Oh, so usually it's a 4-person.
No, I can't even remember really, honestly, at this point.
It used to be 6.
I thought it was 6, but what? It
Yeah.
seems like it's 5. The only competition is 5. How do you feel about this comp?
I mean, I liked it because I liked it because first of all, it had layers, right? There was a lot going on, right? So, first of all, I like the fact that it was innovative in the sense that you're sliding on your back across the thing. Like, there's no easy way of doing that, right? You can't prepare for that. You're throwing it in the fire. It's great. You have to hold the cup the whole time and fill up the bucket, which is I on its own, and to add that to a challenge is for an endurance portion in a sense is I love it. I love it. I love every bit of it, right? Because every little bit counts, right? And whether and it can, like, bringing it across, right? Like you could spill it, you could lose it, like just that little bit, right? And then then you mix it all up, and you get the once again, this is the other thing too, like they have to add these extra elements to like make it like a theme, mix the slop, to make the the running. So then you bring it back, and then see, anyway, so they bring it back, and then they have to throw it in the bucket, right? And so once again, there's another layer to it because they have to weigh the bucket. It's not like a target or something like that. You have to hit once, you have to throw it. And then it was close. It was close between Ty and Dan. Dan put up a good effort.
No one else was close though. No, everyone else seemed like didn't even mention the other people after the first segment. So Daniel was in the lead in the beginning, in the first portion of it, but then Ty took a stranglehold at the end, and I think he was 3 handfuls. That was the difference, right?
Yeah, he was close, and even because he showed it, like he was picking them up and he was putting them on the bucket to see how close he was, and it was interesting because like he did prove like he can compete, which was good on him, right? But now it does put in people's minds that okay, well, you are able to do that now, right? And so it was kind of like an unsuccessful. Like obviously he didn't get voted out, but
yeah,
I digress.
So hold on, I gotta click my screen again. We're back. So Ty's our veto winner, right?
I'm shaking my head at my own pick right now. Like that's just oh my goodness.
Ty's our veto winner.
Big dumb goofy face. No, just in that photo.
Okay, so next thing we know, we have Santina, Zach, and that was, I believe it was Roberto was having a conversation, and they were discussing back and forth as to what to do. And then, of course, Zach was really pushing for Renee, and Roberto, as he's mentioned before, was pushing back, and Zach was getting angry and passive aggressive, and Roberto was like, "What's going on with him? He's such a baby." Right?
Yeah, like once again, like it's very much about like singular thinking. Like what I think is like once again, he seems to have, and even I think it was Roberto had mentioned it, right? Like he seems to feel like he's done it a certain way, and he gets his way to do that, right? Like he yeah. We'll see more how the season goes along with Zach, but he's really like. He's come on very strong. He's not, and it's interesting because it's not just gameplay strong. It's like his personality as well, right? Like that's just who he is as well.
And the condescending comments he makes, and then he catches himself like, "Oh, I'm not supposed to say that. I'm just thinking it. Like I'm gonna teach you how to play Big Brother. I'm not teaching you how to Big Brother. I'm not trying to mansplain." It's like, well, you technically were. Technically, you're trying to too. So Zach goes and runs to Ty to complain about Roberto, right? And Santina comes in and Ty's like, "Look, I got to take a shower. Like, leave me alone." Right?
Yeah, that was pretty funny because like
it was pretty funny. So we get throughout this episode, the episodes, I should say, we follow a lot of Ty and Claudia as a main thing. In this conversation, Ty is kind of complaining about the situation he's in and the decision he has to make and the warring factions. And he mentions that the consensus right now is that Renee is going home. And Claudia's like, what? right? So, um, uh, Renee has a conversation with Santina, which is a very, very positive conversation, and she seems to build a lot of inroads with Santina, which is good, right? Um, so this sequence where Ty and Claudia once again are talking, and Ty is being sour. We later learn the reason why he's sour is because Claudia is wearing Roberto's sweater, and he's
Oh,
concerned about the
so
perception.
so ridiculous. Like, first of all, I too would be annoyed by it, but the way that he's going about it is just so childish. He's just like, you like you should know what you're doing. Like, how do you not know what you're doing? Like, you're making me look bad right now. Come on, it's like, grow up.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, once again,
So
like, I don't like it. I don't like that she's doing it because, like, they're obviously getting close, right?
yeah,
But it's once again, it's just you can see kind of the way that Ty is. He's kind of like about that, like, he kind of gets his way as well.
yes, you're right. And Claudia mentions it. She's like, look, communication's important. And I feel like he just stonewalls me sometimes. Like I'm supposed to know what he's thinking. Like how can I work with someone who's not communicating effectively? He should have just came out and said, "Hey, we're getting close. I don't think you should be doing that." I think a direct and like let his feelings know would be a lot better than I'm not happy right now. It's like, why are you not happy? you know, you know, perception is reality, and like he's pouting like a child, like a petulant child. It's
Yeah,
ridiculous. Ridiculous.
I mean, yeah, it was once again, like, game wise, great pick, Josh. Personal wise, like, very good job.
They all can't be winners. Okay.
No.
So Ty has a
Oh, this
conversation.
this was this was interesting with
Yeah.
Anika. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. Go ahead.
So Ty has a conversation with Anika, and Anika kind of details like, "Look, I chose you. You won, and if you don't take me off, people are gonna think that it's kind of shady. So, are you gonna take me off?" And um, Ty is like trying to fish for information to make sure that he can kind of commit. And Anika does detail that she wants Jam gone, which is in line with what Ty wants and what he can kind of sell to Santina. So he's like, "I'll talk. Don't worry, you're gonna be safe." Right? So Anika protecting her own neck and trying to get the perception that she isn't just going to be the weekly pawn. That being said, I don't think she did enough. She's horrible in competitions. I think she's horrible socially outside of this little segment here. I think she's going to see a lot of the block this spring.
Yeah, I think that's a good assessment. I don't. She hasn't. She's very casual with the way that she goes about things, right? Like, you can tell when someone's talking game in terms of, not just in the now but in the long term, right?
Mhm.
And she's kind of like playing like, oh, I got to play, or like, oh, I'm good for tomorrow. Okay, great, right? Like, it's just like it just seems that she's trying to be caught up with everything, but she's not a part of the group as well, which
Yeah.
is, not ideal, right? So she's not she's behind in the party, but she's also like late. She's late to the party, sorry, but she's struggling to break that
Yeah.
trust barrier. So that's why
I
she
don't
she,
know
she,
what
she picked Ty.
I don't know how she's going to what contribution she's going to have outside of being a number. And even then, I don't even think like someone like Kuzi. See, I said it right. Sam, I said it right. I didn't even look at any of the comments. Oh, Sam, sorry. Usually Dan's running the show and I look at the comments. I haven't looked at the comments, so I have to apologize. We'll do better next week. But like, I don't think she has anything to contribute, and people see that. So unless she finds her niche, right, her inroads, right, I don't know what she's offering outside of being an expendable person.
Yeah,
So
no, she does not have a lot to offer except for a number as of now, right? Like she
yeah,
hasn't. Yeah, moving on.
yeah. Okay, gotta go back. So then you have JM and Santina have a conversation. Um, it seems kind of goofy, but we understand that it's just basically just an act just to get to the ceremony. Um, you know, uh, we have the nomination ceremony, you know, and the Ty, does take Anika off the block, and then Santina has to name a new nom, and she picks JM. JM is not happy. Right? We fast forward. We got to episode 5. We see Arissa. She's wearing a green dress. Typically, with Dave, we would have a little commentary about the dress. How do you feel about the week 2 dress? Do you have any comments on it?
That's a thing. Okay, you're putting on the spot for a
it's
dress. Okay.
it's more because Dave usually hates what she wears.
Oh, she hates what she wears.
Yeah,
Oh well, I'm not. No, I'm not. You. No, I'm not a. I'm a.
fashionista.
I'm not a fashionista. So yeah,
Okay, we'll continue on. So
no
we have our
comment.
new nominations, which is DJ Daniel, JM, and Renee. Right. So we go to uh, you have conversation happening. You have Ty, Santina, and Zach. Once again, they're seemingly on the same page, debating between once again Renee and JM. Um, then eventually Santina goes to have a conversation with JM to check in on how he's feeling, which I don't understand what she was expecting because he vents a little, right? And I think he was pretty kind in terms of his venting.
Oh,
And then
I didn't understand like Santina's approach, right? Because I understood you got to do that. You got to like talk to him, but like she didn't say anything. Like she didn't answer any of the questions. She was like deflecting, and it was all just it was frustrating because it was like and it was like and that's what it was like. It lit a fire under his ass, right? But like it was, she's just I was very unimpressed.
I don't understand this move whatsoever because he's not even asking her tough questions. He's asking her softball questions, right? And she could have like, "I'm sorry, I know." So she could have done that. She just stops talking after a certain point, and then she just leaves, right? And Jam's like, "Of course he's gonna feel a certain way about this." Anyways, he goes and he has a conversation with Renee, Claudia, Shania, and Renee, kind of detailing a situation. We learn that JM and Daniel, DJ Daniel, had a kind of relationship, and he feels bad, kind of looking to vote him out or put campaign for him to vote out. Renee really isn't an option as a target in JM's mind, which is good to hear, and it builds inroads with this group.
You know what?
Um,
Like I that conversation like I felt was kind of like it could be the turning point
yeah,
because once again he's not on the guy's side, right? So he's an extra number for them, and that this is almost like the time like where they want to make the decision, in my opinion, right? But like not at this moment, but this week.
the motivation to like rally the troops, right?
And
And
I was, you know, I liked it. I liked the start of his
oh, the start of his
campaigning.
okay campaigning. Sorry, totally got cut off.
No
Um,
worries.
yeah. I agree. I agree. So we fast forward to more Ty and Ty and Claudia. This time Ty is fine with her, and they kiss in the snow because she is wearing the appropriate clothing, and so therefore Ty has no reason to complain.
Of course.
Uh, Fast forward to Santina. She is uh, in the pool room and flipping through books, and she finds a secret message. The secret message read, sorry, I gotta go over to it. Unseen game. Unseen game. What do you think that means?
I think that it refers to. I think one the obvious one is the painting of all of the winners, or not winners, but former cast members.
Yeah.
Because I think that it's a game that they're in front of them that they're not seeing, right? And I think that first of all, I also think that that this thing is similar to is not similar. Sorry, is planted in other books as well. I think there's other clues as well. She didn't get a chance to read it because can't remember who walked in.
Anika came in.
Anika came in, of course. Always late to the party. And but it's an interesting sign for what's to I guess to come, right? Because things like that
Sorry, I missed some of that last part.
yeah, I know. I don't know what's going on with my. Yep, I don't know what's going on.
When you said there's nothing going on, it's perfectly fine.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I think I'm good.
Okay.
There's a game within the game, right? In terms
Yeah.
of the of what they see, right? Because I think that they said mystery, manner. They've used a lot of terms like that in describing this season, and I think that that's coming to this is the start of what that's going to become, right? Because
Mhm.
it seems like also too there's a lot of rooms that aren't unlocked either, right? Because they keep like other than the last one was HOH, but it seemed like not all of them were open,
Yeah.
right?
Circle
So
K. I think Circle K was the second the in episode 2 was the next one unlocked.
yeah, so there's gonna be other rooms, and it's not just gonna be like treats and whatever, right? It's not gonna be good times, all or whatever, right? But there's probably gonna be like a spot where like the loser sleeps for the week, right, or something like that, or like something like that. I don't know, but
You want some punishments to be found?
no, I love more punishments to be found. I was
I
hoping
like
when that POV competition, I was like, they're having slop. That'd be great. Someone has to eat slop.
yeah. Um yeah, slop isn't the worst thing. Don't let people tell you different. But slop isn't the worst thing. So, JM has a conversation with Vanessa, and Vanessa is very appreciative that someone is actually finally campaigning to her. Um, she hasn't really got that much notice. She feels that there's a disconnect. JM kind of details that he needs 6 people, but he feels he has 6 people, including her, right? If she's included, and he won't reveal the names, but I guess we can assume that it would be Vanessa, Claudia, um, Shania, Daniel, Hope. Um, who'd be next? I only count 5.
Well, you can't count Renee.
Yeah,
So
Vanessa would be 6 then. So I'll count it again. Vanessa, Hope, Daniel, Claudia, Shania, and Kuzi. That would be 6. That
yeah,
would be
that's
6.
not including Anika, right?
Not including Anika. I do find it very, very interesting that we never really see an Anika out in the context of any type of relationship building in this episode, outside of her interactions with Ty.
Yeah, and they're very brief as well. They're
Yes,
more like
like
they're more like checking in and we're good.
yeah, we're good. Okay, see ya, see ya. Okay, so then Daniel and Hope have a conversation, and Hope is very pro JM, but at the same time feels that Daniel feels that he wants to save him, but he doesn't trust the numbers as is to actually get it done, and he doesn't want to rock the boat unless they're sure. I found this very frustrating because a lot of times the reason why a house consensus occurs is because no one wants to step out on a limb and you know make it seem like you can make a change, right? There you like Sometimes these seasons go with no fights because people are like, well, I gotta go with the house because I don't want to put myself in a position, right?
Well, that's the problem, right? Is that then those people are more likely than not going to go far in the game because they're not established early on,
Yeah.
and they're eventually going to get cut. This will be one of those weeks where it's just like, oh, well, we don't want to vote off one of our own. Oh, we got so and so over here, and it's their time to kind of to go, right? Their vacation and whatever's over, right? It's just like it's it's predictable.
Yeah. And the frustrating part for me is that I get super fans. Oh, I don't want to rock the boat. It's like you're a super fan. You will complain online about, oh, I hate when the house votes together, right? But you're doing the exact same thing. Exact same thing, Daniel. I'm talking about specifically. Super fan knows the show. All right. Anyways, um, you have Jam having another good conversation with uh Zuki, Zunika,
Kuzi.
Kuzi. I was doing so well.
Say Zanika.
Kuzi. I don't know what's in my head regarding that. I'll
Okay,
get over it.
stay on topic.
Kuzi. And once again, we keep getting these segments and it's just pumping us full with like dopamine. It's gonna happen. He's gonna be able to flip the house, right? We even get the all girls kind of conversation where Santina's trying to, build a secondary relationship. Um, but it's so evident from Hope that he knows what's going on.
The worst place
And
to talk.
plus, true. That's one of the things about Big Brother Canada. Big groups can't go together without people noticing, right? But the funny thing is, when the guys does it, it's okay. But when the girls do it, all of a sudden it's like all girls alliances forming.
Well, yeah, because they actually it's a threat to them, right? And
Yeah,
because they know already where they stand.
yeah. So you have Kuzi, Renee, Shania, Claudia, and JM having a conversation in the HOH room, and you see the forming of a group um, called what did they call themselves? The Secret Sisters or the Serpent Sisters, and they're like,
The not the Serpent Sisters, the Slasher Sisters.
some.
No,
Look, they never went into the DM and went and talked to the camera, talking about their alliance. Therefore, their alliance doesn't exist. I don't believe in this alliance whatsoever. But it's a good starting point of it, right? Um, Hopefully, they hook up with Daniel, right, and bolster their numbers. But or get Vanessa. I don't understand why people feel that Vanessa's too flippy floppy, but I guess we'll see as the season goes on. Anyways, so we get to the eviction time, and you have Renee do her speech. You have DJ DJ Daniel do his speech, and then we had JM does his speech. How did you feel about the speeches?
um, Dan's was Dan. I guess you could say. Like it's just like you got. I don't know. Can we start using that term?
Dan is what? What term we want to
As being Dan.
do? Dan, yeah. Well, yeah, sure. Yeah.
So that's Renee looked like she was gonna cry, and
Yeah.
she was very heartfelt, and she was but she she was yeah she made a good plea, even though there was no threat.
I like her a lot more after this week. A lot more.
Well, because she was dead last, and she had to get lit a fire under her ass, right? And she's playing, and she's also portraying herself, and she's saying it as she's kind of like I'm the bottom one. I gotta fight my way up to the top. Of the girls. You know what I mean? I gotta prove myself, right? So she's scrappy in a sense.
I, I
Um,
I feel she has, when she's talking, she speaks with conviction, and I can get behind what she's saying. I don't think I would have if Anika was there in that same position. I don't think I would feel that way. I
what's her
would probably
profession
be
again?
rolling my eyes.
Is she like a law student or something?
Um, Renee, I believe she is. I believe she is.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Well,
So she obviously knows, but anyways, and then obviously and then JM, like I think it was well thought and well constructed the way that he finished off. Like it was because he owned himself like till the very end, and there you go, right? So
um, yeah. Um, so update on Sam. On a quick side note, we're not going to take too much time. Um, he might not like Ty, right? And why, you might ask? He was kissing his girl.
yeah, well, Ty, they're always kissing. Well, Sam, they're always kissing your girl. It's not just Ty; they're all kissing your girl. Not just Spotty, like all the girls are kissing. Yeah, it's welcome to the world,
Okay.
bud.
All right. So they go to do the votes, and unfortunately, JM is eliminated. Sorry, JM. We barely knew you. Right? And that is
Yeah,
it.
I honestly thought that he could have done better. You know,
I agree.
I really think that he didn't get a fair shot. I think that if there's a chance for him to come back, I think he should get it because he would be really motivated and he would be better the second time around. So we'll see, but it's kind of like, but it's not like Survivor where it's like a redemption, island kind of situation, where you come back, or whatever, right? But
Yeah.
anyways,
That's unfortunate. So they start the new HOH challenge, but unfortunately, we don't see what happens at the end. And until we get a digital daily, there's no live feeds to check to see if there's any clues to see who won. So sorry, that's my roundabout way of answering the question, Bonnie. Thank you for writing in. Bonnie asks, who won HOH night? We won't know, unfortunately, unless we get a digital daily. They've been doing the digital dailies like once a day, but on the weekend they didn't provide any. So I don't know if we have to wait until maybe Friday's digital daily or maybe even Monday's digital daily to find out what is going on. Uh, so uh, from the small glimpse that you had of the HOH, who do you think's gonna win?
oh, you
Sorry,
would
who do you
think
think's gonna win? Who do you hope to win?
well, the way that first of all, this seems like a real crapshoot. This one, like it seems very, very. It's not, you can't practice it in terms of like it's like you're gonna get it after the first few shots. It's difficult, and like design it that way, right? The theme is whatever, it's a carnival. I get it, right? It makes sense. Their outfits are absolutely ridiculous. Oh my goodness, what the hell they're wearing? It is just it's almost inappropriate. Oh my god, it's just. Anyways, but
Costume
so
department's getting they're like, oh, we got a budget this season, let's spend it.
I know, right? We gotta get mesh. We gotta cut back on fabric. So but the actual challenge itself, though, it looks hard. It does look hard. I don't think I would be able to do it as maybe you could get the hang of it if you focused on one pillar,
Mm-hmm.
but the shot intake and like the funnel and stuff, right? And the way that it looks high, it looks like it's got to be about 7 or 8 feet high. Some of them, right? So they're not close, right? And obviously the harder ones are higher and harder to get in, and but you saw what was it, Dan at the end getting one, but
Yeah.
what did you think?
I don't know who I want. Um, Shania maybe or Renee. Sorry, Renee. Definitely, I would want Renee to do it. I would like to reverse her fortunes and let people, treat her with a little bit of respect and idea that, the first week was the first week, and she isn't just this bottom feeder person. She has, the skills that she'll be able to like actually, do something in this game. That paired with her social capital, I think she can go far. Who I think's gonna win? Um, um,
Yeah, because I
Ty,
exactly I couldn't
Ty.
Kai. Yeah, I don't know what to think. Maybe
Uh,
Hope.
Hope would be interesting because once again, as I mentioned before at the beginning of the episode, they haven't really shown that he's a part of the group, and he seems really close with Daniel. So we'll have to wait and see. He seems like a weird cat because he kind of I refer to it as like he double speaks, like he kind of like talks underneath like what he's saying, and sometimes you have to like pay close attention to hear exactly what he's trying to state. But once
He's young
again,
too.
he is young. He is young. Um, Regardless, we're gonna see how it plays out. So that's it for our recap. Any parting thoughts before we start wrapping things up? As I check the time, still less than an hour. Another one for the good guys.
Oh yeah, well it's a grind. Three shows a week, or three episodes a week, 2 shows a week. Like it's a lot.
Yeah,
Gotta keep going. Gotta give her.
gotta give her. Um, yeah, we're gonna try to stick up with this in terms of the schedule and try to make sure that we can balance it appropriately. So even though necessarily it's going to be less coverage than what we did in previous seasons, I feel like we'll do our best to be as concise as possible, and just give you a little video or audio ditty that you can watch. So uh, let's run down our show. So if you want to watch us next week, it'll be, I believe, 9 o'clock once again. Um, 9 o'clock for on Tuesday, and then we'll follow up on Wednesday. I'll try to make sure we can start a little bit earlier. Foster, I apologize. Um, I'll have a better lock on finishing up, and we should be starting around 9:15
No
on
worries.
Thursday.
No, we gotta
Okay.
push it. We gotta push it. It's all good. We don't have to. Like you said, we're loose. We're different. We're not
We'll
Dave
listen.
Mater. If you want Dave Mater, you gotta wait.
You gotta wait. You gotta wait for Dave. Uh, so Dave won't be with us next week. He is going on vacation because hardworking man that he is. So we wish him well. He is doing the Picard podcast right now. As we are part of where is it? I just scrolled away. We are part of United Federation of Podcasts, right? And Super Mater Brothers are a part of that. Uh, Dave right now is doing Live Long and Podcast, which is our Star Trek review podcast series. We have a slew of individuals who are part of us, and We do television recaps. Usually it is Monday for Enterprise, and then Tuesdays for D Space Nine at 9ish, which we're on hiatus until later on in the month. And Star Trek Picard, which are running new episodes on Thursday. So that's where Dave is tonight. He is running that. Plus, we do other things. About a week ago, we did a radio theater. We did a radio stage play of an episode. In this case, it wasn't an episode, it was a comic book. We had. Let's say, for example, you had Dave playing a Dracula type of character. You had your friend and mine, Kevin Millard, playing uh, good old Rutherford. You had Davan playing Broimler. Uh, you had uh, Jessica Chan being the woman of many hats uh, with Beckett, Divana, and so and such. I unfortunately was unable to make the episode, so you'll hear my voice in the not live final version. But check that out. It's on YouTube. You can listen to it, and if you can listen to it via audio as well through your podcast catcher. Um, we have other shows on our network, including Trivia Debates, which is a trivia debate show. Our last episode featured. That's my
Oh,
episode.
dude, no, show it. Show
Oh
the
no,
next.
this is I was supposed to show the last episode. This is the upcoming episode, which is happening on April 1st, where it's going to be a wrestling theme, where myself and Andre, who is a professional wrestler, and the gentleman in the middle, who I don't know his name yet. I apologize. Dave knows. And the world mind, Chris Murphy, is going to be our host. So I'm looking forward to crush the competition in that. Every Wednesday, Michael Chan, CBS Pilot's own Michael Chan, is on the Hellbound podcast with Alex Blackburn. And they do that every Wednesdays. Plus, they do little short segments where they review horror movies on the weekend. So you should check that out. Davin Skelhorn and Andre Mayette also do X-Men podcast, X-Rated, the X-Men animated review show. They're currently recapping the old Fox series in preparation of the new the new X-Men 97 series that's coming on later this year. Andre also runs a graphics histories podcast where he interviews comic creators, comic artists, and also people in various industries. He did Michael Chan, and he's going to be doing the wrestler named Kurgan soon, who was also in 300. So you should definitely check it out. Davin is on KBBBL, which is a Simpsons podcast. They're just wrapping up season 1 of The Simpsons. You should always check it out. They usually record on Fridays. And hold up, one last podcast to talk about, which is indeed called Hold Up, a movie podcast where the world mind, Chris Murphy, and Devin talk about 3 movies, two movies from pre 2000 and one post 2000. The last episode, I believe, was focused on television, which the 3 movies were UHF, Stay Tuned, and Good Night and Good Luck. So you should check that out. I might be starting another podcast, a little small time gig, but I'm a week behind because it's been a swampy week. So hopefully next week you'll hear more information. That's it. Still under an hour. Thank you for watching our podcast. This is episode 5 of Big Brother season 11. Canada, Big Brother Canada season 11. On behalf of Foster and myself, we bid you adieu. Now it's time to try to play our exit things properly this time. Adios.